What's happening, folks? It's Thursday, April 4th, and I want to do a Bitcoin session, but I didn't want to go live because I got a lot of things to talk about, and I didn't want to take on many questions about trades and looking at XYZ coin, etc. Okay, so let me get right to the point, and we're going to go through some in-depth Bitcoin analysis and some of my views on it. Okay. So here we have, one of my charts that I like to look at on a smaller time frame to see exactly how ETH, LTC, and BCH are reacting to BTC. Okay, the reason I picked these is because these three are more often than not the top three coins, not only by market cap but by desiredness, for average retail investors, because these are typically the only coins that allow, direct fiat on-ramps, right? Whether it's Coinbase or Kraken, Gemini, and I don't really know how the UK or Australian continent does it, but I'm pretty sure that they also allow direct, fiat on-ramps to specifically these four, and probably some others, but these four are definitely the leaders of the pack in, having fiat on-ramps available. Okay, so anyway, going back to the point, I like to watch this chart specifically on either the 5-minute time frame or even higher time frames, because I like to see how these three coins react to BTC. Now, over the past couple months, whenever I've had this chart open, oftentimes it's been Ethereum leading the pack above all these. And then as of late, it's been LTC. And then, even more recently, it's been BCH. So what it does is it identifies a, more of a positive hedge for us, that we understand if BTC is, in momentum and it's full swing up, it might be better to, grab onto the BCH or LTC train, because they can give you more percentage gains than BTC might, or even Ethereum for that matter. So this chart right here, sort of helps you identify, which are the runners and which are the laggards. All right, and you can do this by yourself too. All you do is you go over here and you select a line chart for whatever asset you're on, and then you do this symbol right here. You do compare, and you could just type in, BTC, Ethereum, USD, this one right here, and then make them all line charts and compare them on different time frames. So what I've seen so far is, as you can see, even in this case right here, you see, Bitcoin has made a move. Bitcoin is blue, by the way. It's made a move, of about 37 or so percent. BCH, on the other hand, has made almost, 150% move. LTC, being the gold, has made about, a 95% move, and Ethereum is, a laggard, so it's about, 30% right now. Okay, so that's sort of what, that sort of helps us identify, even in the bigger time frames, what's been leading and what's been, lagging behind. All right, so let's go back to our original chart, Japanese candlesticks. And what we see right here is that on the 1 hour chart, we saw a sharp move up and then a drift away, try to challenge that $5,300–$5,400 area. But we slowly sort of just came down from it, after we made this kind of move up. Let me do that again. I don't know what happened there. We sort of made this kind of move up, and then we slowly came back to test this area again. Now what's going to happen more than likely is this, sort of choppiness right here is going to become resistance on the way up. Okay, because there was a lot of people probably, hoping that we would bounce here. Unfortunately, they got trapped, and when we head back up towards that area, they're going to want to relieve their positions, and there's going to be more sellers, dropping their Bitcoin. Okay, so we may, sort of come down sideways, make a higher low right here, come retest that area again, and then come back down again, and then, swing on up. Okay, now for the most part, I do expect one more leg up from Bitcoin, even if it's, trying to create a lower high right here, kind of like that, as per this high. I do expect BTC to kind of make that move one more time. And what that's going to allow us to do is, either sell off our positions, or, depending on the strength of the movement, or keep it, so we may know that Bitcoin may actually have more room to go to the upside, almost challenging that $5,500 target I had, or at the very highest 6,000. Okay, now this is where things get really interesting. All right, so let me pull up a different chart here. All right, so here we go. This is the chart that I wanted to show you guys, and this is where things get really interesting. All right, so being part of the equity markets for about 11 years, one thing I've seen over and over is when big hype cycles like this eventually dump, if say gold or silver or even oil, for example, has had big booms and busts in its lifespan. Okay, and what typically happens is once the asset is ready to make another leg up. And Bitcoin is truly unique in this sense because it has no problem, having 90%, drawdowns, and then, making its way back up with accumulation, a couple more drops to, weed out the average FOMOers and retailers, and then, sharply just keep on moving up and away. So it's done this over and over, right? And that's clearly visible when we start charting it on bigger time frames, kind of like this, way back from 2015. So what that tells us right now is this, okay? We know that, Bitcoin made a huge move over the past couple days, okay? Again, we're looking at this on the 3-day chart. So we made a big move for the past couple days, and what we haven't done in a while, or basically, since 2017, is go past and move past the 618 Fibonacci level. And it's not just necessary that you simply have a wick poking past it and then come down again. It's more or less necessary that you want to close at least a daily or a couple of dailies above the 618 reverse retrace. So what I mean by that is when Bitcoin hit 20,000, right, it basically went on this big drop off all the way down to about 6,000. Okay. Sorry about that sound, just doing some laundry. When prices move back up towards this 11.7 area right here, as you can see, on the reverse retrace of this fib bounce right here, from this top to this bottom, it barely made it, past 382 Fibonacci, right? And then from 11.7, it came down to 6,400 and then made it back up to the 618 Fibonacci, again, on the reverse retrace. Went from about 10K down to 5,700 and then moved up back here towards 8,400 bucks. Again, 618 Fibonacci. Went from 8,400 down to about 6,000, came back up to 7,300. Again, 618 Fibonacci. Then we dropped off from this high right here, okay, about 6,500, made it back all the way down to $3,100. And now we're struggling to see, if we can get past the 618 Fibonacci level again, okay? Now, I personally think that there is a possibility that we may have a wick poking out again, 1 or 2 times. But I do expect this sort of movement, when we do move back up into that 5th wave, to retest some of these highs with some wicks, maybe even a couple of candle closings, and maybe get people a little bit too bullish in this region right here, because they're preemptively buying before this red box right here, which is previous support, all this right here, which is previous support, and it's now resistance. Okay, a majority of people, all they see is the number on a particular asset. They do not see technicals. They don't know how support and resistance levels work. They don't understand supply and demand and where there's a lot of sellers stacked and where prices are going to get clobbered. All they see is Bitcoin made a 20-30% move and I need to buy and empty my entire savings account, credit cards, everything into it. And what's going to happen is these are the same people who are going to feel the maximum amount of pain. Okay, so what's going to happen is we might, hit this area, maybe even have a wick poking up past this into 6,000 and then come back down again, try this again. And then we're going to have that big sort of capitulation dump or we may even meet this, sort of ascending trend line that we see right here. Okay, I'm personally leaning 50-50 right now, because I personally think that these people right here also need to feel the pain. But even if it means that prices go up to say mid 5,000s and then come back to mid 4,000s or high 3,000s, I think that actually might also be good enough to get that next consistent leg move back up for that next bull market move. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm looking at right now. Is we're looking at the third wave almost maybe finishing off right now, fourth wave completing, and the fifth wave may want to start poking up towards 5,300 and then make that one more leg down, because as you can see with anecdotal evidence, let me go back to the previous bull markets and the way they started, right? You could see once we had this big capitulation candle right here, we made consistent moves up for a couple of weeks, right? So this right here could almost be analogous to maybe what we're seeing right now. Or let's just say, this right here was this right here, okay? And then we made a couple of weeks up right here in 2015 March. We did the same thing right here in January, right? And then we made, a higher low right here. We made a higher low right here, and then we moved sideways for a little bit. We moved sideways for a little bit right here as well, and then we made sort of a higher high right here in July 2015. As you can see, this might be our July 2015 creating a higher high. This marks basically a turning point in the market, because even in 2013 and 14 in the bear markets, all the markets did was create lower highs, right? All it did was high right here, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, and then finally we had a higher low, and then another higher low, and then the rest is history, right? So this is kind of what I'm thinking for this market too right now, is we may need that one more capitulation style movement on the way down, make everyone feel the maximum amount of pain, whether that's 4,000s or 3,000s, or maybe even this box that I have right here. This actually is really interesting, because oftentimes what happens is there's a clean sweep of trapping these buyers to sell their positions, these buyers and these buyers, by it's called sweeping the lows. Okay, so what you really do is you basically take a big dump on the way down, and you look like you're about to bounce right here, get more people trapped right here. You look like you're about to bounce at the previous, all-time low of the 2019 market, but then you dump even more, and you get everyone to sell and panic and sell off their entire stash, and everyone collects right here. The smartest traders wait in this region right here, and they pick it all up, and then they drive the market up. Okay, so that's another possibility too. Now I'm going to be waiting for all scenarios, because that's kind of what we do in our group, right? But for the most part, I'm still expecting another leg down. I really don't think, I would be really, really surprised if the bear market sort of ends kind of like this and we just take off, okay? I would be really, really surprised, and that would be one of the first things I've seen in many, many years. So this is kind of what I'm envisioning. Still fourth wave move down after the completion of the fifth, maybe in say a high 5,000s. We're going to try to take another leg down, a big sort of scary movement, because what's going to happen is from 5,000s, mid 5,000s, a big leg down would imply almost a 20-30% drop, maybe even 40%, and that will panic everyone's balls, because that's just how retailers are. A majority of people cannot handle 30-40% drops, guys. That's just normal human psychology, right? But at least in our group, we'll know exactly the longer time frames, what we're looking at, and we know for sure that we are ready for at least a big move up. And I know that at least in my trading account, what I'm going to do is on my final fifth wave move up, I'm going to sell off pretty much all my positions, and I would rather wait above this area, even if it means I have to pay a higher premium for whatever coins that I'm trying to trade. Okay, because remember, you buy support and you sell resistance. All right. Now let's move away from this chart and let's check out something else. Okay, let's go to the higher time frames on this. Actually, maybe it's not that one. Maybe it's this thing right here. So here's something on the weekly chart that I wanted to show you guys. All right. So this white trend line right here has been something that Bitcoin has essentially, respected for a long, period of time. Okay. If we map it out like this, as you can see, it has, used the price has used this trend line as support multiple times through all the way up, into March 2017, and then it finally just moved away and just took off like a rocket, right? So now we're coming back to that same trend line again, and as you can see, we're approaching that with a bit of, hesitancy from price action, and you can see this also matches up, with that 618 Fibonacci reverse retrace level, right? Whatever I just spoke about before. Another good thing is, we are poking, or at least trying to poke out of this descending sort of parallel channel that we've had for so many months, almost 10 to 12 months. So it just goes to show that even though things look like they are turning around, they haven't completely. Okay, because we haven't opened and closed a complete weekly candle out of this. We haven't broken above the ascending trend line. We haven't crossed and closed above the 618 Fibonacci. So I think you get my point, right? And we also haven't crossed this huge 6,000-ish area resistance. Okay, so even though the sentiment and price action is turning, it hasn't completely turned. Okay, and this is why I want everyone to stay vigilant, that this is not, the start of a bull run. It's rather, potentially the end of a bear market. Okay, it's two different distinctions, right? Because the end of the bear market could still bring down prices, a little bit before it starts taking off some more. Okay, so I hope that, chart kind of helped you guys. Now, another chart that I mocked up was this one right here. Okay. So bear with me on this. This is a little bit more convoluted. So what I'm going to do is explain each little part and explain where I got some of these values. Okay. So what I did was I marked a move from the bottom of this, first inception of Bitcoin starting to trade. I didn't, catch the wick right here because I think it's just too much to take into account. But I took the candle opening from 2010 October, and I took this big bull run all the way to $21. Okay, that was about a 40,000% increase. All right, pretty massive, right? I wish I would have gotten in Bitcoin back then. But then we had this, bear market so first, this bull market right here lasted about 238 days. You can see that by the label right here. The bear market lasted 168 days when it, dragged prices down. Then we moved away for the next potential bull run and took prices all the way to almost $1,200, right? And this was, the ending of the 2013 bull market. So this went for a almost 57,000%. Okay, the prices moved from almost $2 all the way to $1,200 or $1,300. Okay, that took 714 days. Okay, now the bear market subsequent to that was about a 85% drawdown, right? And it lasted about 581 days. Okay, then the next bull market started right around say July or so 2015, and that took off for a 9,867% increase, and that lasted about 882 days. Okay, then we had this bear market, and again we're not out of it just yet. That lasted about 462 days. It might even be closer to 500, which might match this bear market right here. Okay, and then what I did was I divided 9,867, which was the last bull market, divided by this one right here, and it gave us about a multiple of 5.8%. Okay, or I'm sorry, 5.8x in terms of percentage. So I divide that same percent over here for the next bull market that we may have, right? So that takes us to about, 1,682%. So if that rings true, okay, we should have prices come up close to about 50,000 to 55,000 sometime in 2021 or sometime in 2022, because these cycles all lasted about, the bull cycles lasted about, 2 to 2.5 years, maybe 3 years. And so that takes us all the way into 2021 for sure. Okay. So that's sort of what I'm, mocking up as, my longer time frame, just as an example of where prices could go if the history spoke anything of Bitcoin's future. And oftentimes it has. So, I think a good $50,000 target for a BTC by, 2021, somewhere in the middle of it, might be viable. Okay. I hope that helps. This is kind of all I really wanted to do for today's analysis. Let me go back to the short-term analysis and see if there's anything I want to talk about. Let me see right here. Let's go check out the smaller time frames and see what's going on. Okay. So for the most part, we hit this hammer right here, right where previous resistance was, right about 48.05. And looks like, we may be struggling in between this 49.70 area all the way to, say 5,000. Once we sort of create a higher high as per these, these swings right here, say 5,050 to be safe, I think we can definitely challenge, $5,200 to $5,300. I am expecting that, fifth wave up to, maybe 5,500, this marker right here. And at the very highest, 6,000. Okay. I really don't foresee prices going past that and starting, a bull run with like a $7,000 or $8,000 price action movement. Okay. So this is what I'm kind of seeing right now. I am still pretty much in all my positions, whether it's LTC, BCH, BNB, I think that was it. So I'm really not concerned about this. Like I said, at the heaviest, we could get a retrace to, let's see, how did I mock that up? I think, about 45.90, say $4,600. I really don't think that, we're going to be going past that because like I said, right, I think we want to have, another leg up to get people the FOMO, get people trapped up in that 5,000 region, and then really hammer down the prices back towards 4,000, maybe even high 3,000s. And I think that should happen maybe in, a couple of weeks, maybe a month or two. But I really don't think it's going to happen right away because like I said, right, you want markets have a way of, making a majority of the unbeknownst, market FOMOers to feel the maximum amount of pain. And you can only do that when you start kicking prices higher and higher and get people to drain their bank accounts, and everything at these high prices. And then you take a big tumble down, have, like a black swan event where you have wicks poking into high 2000s. And that's where you end the capitulation and you start your next true run up for the next bull market. Okay. I hope this analysis helped. Sorry if it was lengthy, but I wanted to get everything that was on my mind. Again, like I said, I'm still not concerned about this current move right now. I am still, waiting in all my positions patiently. This is not the first time that I've been in the negative, and it won't be the last. So I hope you guys are chugging along today, and I hope this analysis helps you. And that's pretty much it, guys. And if you're actually new and you're not part of the Cryptosomniac community, please do check out our channel, cryptosomniac.com. We have great analysis. I post up, videos every single day for my community. I provide multiple updates through the day. I have a user requested TA section where everyone, whoever has questions about specific altcoins, I answer them personally. I have a short-term channel where I put out our trades, medium-term, long-term, etc. So you can see that, we make a good amount of gains, guys. And, everyone knows that we have some good content in our community. We also have a education channel down here where I provide a lot of, books, videos. I write up articles, and then my wife actually writes a daily newsletter where she talks about the fundamentals behind the crypto space and what's going on, right? So tons of content, guys, and it's I would say a way more than reasonable price for $97 per month. Most people say that they get their money back within the first week or two of trading. So I'll leave that up to you. And that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed, and come see us in our Cryptosomniac community and talk to y'all soon. All right, guys? Cheers.